Hey peeps, Tyler here with my May book haul. I got yesterday's Sky, Astrology, and Reincarnation by Stephen Forrest. If I talk about my astrology books though, and spiritual stuff, it'll be on my second channel, the Spiritual Crippled Tranny, which is always in my link tree, and generally often in the end screen. And when it comes to Stephen Forrest so far, I've been really studying astrology since like fall of last year, so I'm still a beginner because it takes like a freaking lifetime. And I'm still very much a beginner, but I've been loving Stephen Forrest, and he has a new app, Lila. I've been enjoying that too. Behind your familiar astrological chart lies another it says, unleash the hidden power of the chart behind your chart. Behind your familiar astrological chart lies another chart entirely. One whose existence you may never have suspected. It carries your treasures and your wounds. Where the astrologer's predictions and the realities of your life might not, in all honesty, have lined up, this chart behind the chart will help you see why. This second hidden chart tells the tale of who you were in a prior lifetime. It speaks of what wounded you then and what work you left undone. It reveals the old ghosts that still haunt you today, and it describes what happens when you let them grab the steering wheel of your life. This chart explains the reasons you have the chart you have today, and it clarifies how you can get on with your evolutionary journey. In yesterday's Sky, Stephen Forrest completes the picture he began painting in his bestseller The Inner Sky over 25 years ago. Stephen Forrest is a philosopher of the stars who approaches his subject with depth and profound compassion. He doesn't prod you with a pitchfork. He gently invites you to travel with him on his time machine, and no matter where you stand on past and future lives, you owe it to yourself to be open to the panorama of his vision. Michael Luton, author of Sunshines. So, yes. Journey of Souls, Case Studies of Life Between Lives by Michael Newton. I've heard a lot about this book, so it's even recommended by Brian L. West, which wrote Many Lives, Many Masters, which I also read and loved. So, uncover the mystery of life in the spirit world. Now considered a classic in the field, this remarkable book was the first to fully explore life between lives. Journey of Souls presents 29 case studies of people placed in a superconscious state of awareness using Dr. Michael Newton's groundbreaking techniques. These first-hand accounts reveal extraordinary details about what the spirit world is really like, where we go and what we do as souls, and why we choose to come back in certain bodies. Dr. Newton's unique approach allowed him to reach his subjects' hidden memories of what happened to them between lives. While in deep hypnosis, the subjects provide insight on how it feels to die, the purpose of life, what you see and feel right after death, different levels of souls, beginning, intermediate, and advanced, when and where you learn to recognize soulmates. Journey of Souls has helped more than 700,000 readers better understand the immortality of the human soul. You too can gain a deeper appreciation for your own journey and meet day-to-day challenges with a greater sense of purpose. Death and the Afterlife, a chronological journey from cremation to quantum resurrection. Very pretty book. A chronicle of history's preeminent and peculiar notions. Of death and the afterlife, this eerie chronology ventures to the fractal boundaries of psychology, culture, biology, and physics, exploring such diverse topics as the Maya death gods, golems, seances, zombies, and quantum immortality. With the turn of every page, we'll encounter beautiful artwork and unexpected insights about death and what may lie beyond. Dedicated, The Case for Commitment in an Age of Infinite Browsing by Pete Davis. Most of us have had this experience browsing through countless options on Netflix, unable to commit to watching any given movie, and losing so much time skimming reviews and considering trailers that it's too late to watch anything at all. Pete Davis argues that this is the defining characteristic of the moment. Keeping our options open, we hesitate to make any decision that might close us off from an even better choice we imagine is just around the corner. This culture of restlessness is a source of great tension in many of our lives. We wanted to explore all possibilities, and yet we yearn for the purpose and community that can only come from making deep commitments. In Dedicated, Davis examines this quagmire as well as the counterculture of committers who have made it to the other side, relinquishing the false freedom of an open future in exchange for the deep fulfillment of true dedication. Weaving together examples from history, personal stories, and applied psychology, Davis's candid and humble words offer a meaningful answer to our modern frustrations and a practical path to joy. Original Knowing: How Religion, Science, and the Human Mind Point to the Irreducible Depth of Life. Apologies for the glare from the ring light. Did Lucy know God? Could Neanderthals talk? And I don't think I'm saying Neanderthals right. Neanderthals? Was Artie self-conscious? I don't know who Artie even is. These are the strange new breed of questions emerging as we discover more and more about our prehistoric origins. Questions about knowing, while fossil digs and carbon dating tell a remarkable story about the bones and times of our ancient ancestors. We cannot help but wonder what they knew and when. Exploring such questions, Original Knowing takes contemporary science as seriously as religious tradition and searches for the story behind this odd creature who senses more to the universe than meets the eye. In limestone bluffs and butterfly migrations, from Stone Age tool-making to Sumerian beer-making, clues are sought to better understand this strange mind that ponders the origins of its own existence. When do babies point, and why does it matter? What does throwing a frisbee reveal about our distant ancestors? Is language the key to our minds, as many believe, or perhaps the heart of knowing rests in something more basic, in a smile and the powerful social abilities at work, allowing us to sense a depth to life, to our own lives, a depth that our minds help us glimpse, if only through a glass darkly. And there's also a lot of blurbs that I did not read. The Book of the Moon: Discovering Astrology's Lost Dimensions by Stephen Forrest. Unlock the hidden dimensions of the moon. Humans have been meditating on the moon since the beginning of our time on Earth. As long as there has been anything we could call astrology, it has been central to all theories of celestial influence. But why do astrologers pay so little attention to its phases? In these pages, Stephen Forrest, best-selling author of The Inner Sky, which I'm going to have to get as well, shows how we have been blinded to the lunar phases by a set of cultural attitudes now drifting into extinction. He demonstrates that our Celtic ancestors held the key to understanding lunar phase, and he skillfully, clearly, and eloquently turns the key in that lock for us. Along the way, he also presents the latest research on the powerful but little-used tools, the out-of-bounds moon, lunar speed, and lunar parallax. You'll also find rare descriptions of the progressed lunation cycle, planetary phase angles, and nodal phase. Discover the soul of the moon in this lucid explanation of the moon's place in modern humanistic astrological counseling. The Book of the Moon took me on a deep dive. Before I knew it, I was swimming through intricate details of lunar reality far beyond the superficial placement astrology of sign, house, and aspect. Joan Kiley, bplanetwise.com. That's the back. Letters for My Brothers, Transitional Wisdom in Retrospect, 4th edition. In today's fast-paced world, the internet can provide quick answers to personal questions. But when an individual raised by society to live, breathe, and look at the world with female eyes transitions to male, some of the most enlightening, helpful, and profound advice can only come in retrospect. Letters for My Brothers features essays from respected trans men mentors who share the wisdom they wish they would have known at the beginning of their journey into manhood. And if you're new here, I'm a trans man. And I had no idea that Jamison Green, author of Becoming a Visible Man, which I've read and loved, and it's on my friggin' bookshelf, blurbed this book. I had no idea. There's wisdom in here, real honesty, feelings that aren't shared casually. You might not agree with everyone, every piece may not resonate with you today, but I will say what I used to say to new men at the FTM support group 20 years ago. Don't make up your mind about us until you've visited 3 times, I think. You'll find that you can learn something from everyone if you just give them a chance. Every contribution to this book has a power and a grace all its own, and together they are timeless. Come back more than once. Jamison Green, author of Becoming a Visible Man. And it has featuring writing by because I did not know Jamison Green blurbed it. Like I said, I have read Becoming a Visible Man, and I freaking loved it, as all these tabs say. An updated edition of a classic book from transgender rights pioneer Jamison Green. This is not a new book, obviously. At least, or not new to me. At least 2 generations of transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people have emerged since Becoming a Visible Man was first published in 2004, but the book remains a beloved resource for trans people and their allies. Emphasizing the lives of trans men who are often overlooked, Jamison Green elucidates the experience of masculinity in a way that is self-assured and inclusive of feminist values. Green's inspirational wisdom has informed and empowered thousands of readers. There is still no other book like Becoming a Visible Man in the transgender canon. Yes. Not part of my book haul, but highly recommend. Spreading Misandry, the teaching of contempt for men in popular culture. There's nothing. Oh, there it is. Paul Nathanson and Katherine Young argue that since the 1990s, men have been portrayed in popular culture as evil, inadequate, or honorary women, from designing women, Home Improvement, Oprah, and Cape Fear, to Hallmark cards, comic strips, and the New York Times columns of Anna Quindlen, the first of a 3-part series. I did not know that part. Spreading Misandry offers an impressive critique of popular culture to identify a phenomenon that is just now being recognized as a serious cultural problem. Misandry, the sexist counterpart of misogyny. Nathanson and Young urge us to rethink prevalent assumptions about men that result in profoundly disturbing stereotypes that foster contempt. And plus there's also blurbs. No idea if you can see that. And last but not least, The Occult Book, a chronological journey from Alchemy to Wicca. Apparently alchemy was never literal. Apparently everything I thought about alchemy is wrong, and now that changes Frankenstein because apparently it wasn't literal. I don't know. I've been so confused about hearing all the alchemy stuff for the past several months. I'm like, why are we using it like that now? Apparently it was always that way. I'm confused. But anyway, a chronological journey from alchemy to Wicca. An enlightening journey through occult history, this fascinating chronology explores such diverse topics as the earliest alchemists of ancient Egypt, the Philosopher's Stone, the Kabbalah, the origin of the Terror of the Knights Templar, the founding of the Hellfire Club, Aleister Crowley's The Book of the Law, modern-day Wicca, and more. With the turn of every page, you will encounter beautiful artwork and intriguing insights about the occult, an astonishing story of suppression, survival, and rebirth extending over more than 2.5 millennia. Beautiful book. Of course, I don't really know alchemy history. That's just something I'm going to have to look into. So that is my May book haul. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.